I'm going to try this with sound this time. I think I've got everything sorted out, and we'll try and see what we can do. We're going to have a look at some simultaneous equations and get some idea about how to go about doing some of these. Right, so where to start? Well, we need an equation. So let's have a look and see what we can do here. So let's just zoom in and let's have a look at a simple equation. And we'll have a look at one, which is x plus y equals 3. And we'll say that x minus y equals 1. It's quite an easy one, really, to start with. Right, now, what we want to do is have a look and see whether we've got anything we can eliminate, because that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and do this by a process of elimination. So if we add these up, I'm going to add x and x. That's going to give me 2x. But the y's, when we add them up, because one's plus and one's minus, they're going to eliminate each other. So we're going to add these up. 3 plus 1 gives us 4. So I know that 2x equals 4. Therefore, x is going to be 4 divided by 2, which is going to give us 2. Now we've got our answer to our first question. What we want to do is to put this value of x back into the equation so we can work out what y is. So let's take the first one. So we know we've got 2. So x is 2. So it's going to be 2 plus y equals 3. We can take the 2 over to the other side. And as we do so, we need to sort of take away 2 from both sides. So we can say that y equals 1. And there we have our answer. So for this one, x equals 2 and y equals 1. And there we've got a simultaneous equation by simple elimination. Give you a better idea, let's have a look at another one. So we'll take this time x plus y, and in this case it's going to equal 4, and we're going to find that we've got 2x minus y is going to give us 5. Again, we've got a nice simple solution here where we can remove the y's by adding the 2 up. So let's add the 2 up. So I'm going to have x plus 2x is going to give me 3x. The y's are going to eliminate, and we're going to add 4 and 5 together, which is going to give us 9. So we've got 3x equals 3. So divide both sides by 3. X is going to equal 3. Let's take this and put it into one of these. It doesn't really matter which one. We're going to do the first one because it's going to be the easier way to do it. So we're going to say that 3 plus y equals 4. Take away 3 from both sides. Y equals 1. And there are our answers. So we've got x equals 3 when y equals 1. Let's look at another couple of these and see what we can do with them. So we'll have another one here. I've got x plus y equals 7, and I've got 2x minus y equals 8. The same rules apply. We can simply take the y's away. So what we can do is add them. So 2x and x gives me 3x. This disappears, and 8 and 7 are going to make 15. So I can easily see that if we divide both sides by 3, then x equals 5. There, I gave you the solution. Take our x, let's put it in there. So we've got 5 plus y equals 7, and we can simply then take the 5 away from both sides, and we get y equals 2. So x equals 5 and y equals 2. Basically, it's the same way of doing each type of equation. We look at these, so I've got x minus y here equals now minus 2, and I've got 2x plus y equals 11. Bit messy lines, but doesn't matter. Right. Again, I can eliminate the y here, so let's add them up. X and 2x are going to give me 3x. 11 minus 2 is going to give me 9. 3x equals 9. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 3. Take this, put it into our number. Probably going to be easier to do that one. So 2 times 3 is going to give me 6 plus y equals 11. Now I can take away 6 from both sides, so we can say that y simply equals 5. Probably worth doing just one more of these just to make sure that you're happy with this. So let's take 2x minus y equals 7 and 3x plus y equals 18. So we're going to eliminate the y's by adding. 2x and 3x is going to give me 5x, and we're going to have 7 plus 18, and that's going to give me 25, and we could manage to work out that x is going to equal 5. So, sorry. Now, let's sort out what y is going to be. So, let's put it in the first one. So, 2x is going to give us 10 minus y equals 7. Let's put in here minus 10 from both sides, and that's going to give me y equals minus 3. But it's minus y, so we also know that plus y equals plus 3. So we've got really quite a simple equation for trying to work out how things work. Now let's have a look at something a little bit more difficult. Same idea, same type of equations, but this time we've got a slightly different problem. If I take my equation, this is 2x plus y equals 6, and I take my 3x plus y equals 8, I can see that I can't add these two together. It's not going to eliminate them. What we're going to do is we're going to take them away. Now, there's several ways of doing this, and I'm going to show you perhaps an easier way of trying to do this. One of the things we can do is we can change one of these sets of numbers to be negative. And because I've played with these things a few times, if I actually make the top line negative, it's going to make my sum easier for me. So let's make the top line negative. Now, if I make them negative, anything that's positive is going to come negative. So that's going to come negative, that's negative, and that's negative. Now, let's just do that adding again. So I've got minus 2x plus 3x, so 3x minus 2x is 1x. The y's will eliminate, and I've got 8 minus 6, which is going to give me 2. So now x equals 2. We can substitute into the first equation where it wasn't negatives, where we didn't change the signs. So we can go back to the original there, and we can say x is 2. 2 2's are going to be 4, plus y equals 6. So therefore I can get minus 4 to both sides. So we get y equals 2. Let's try another one of those. See how it goes. So let's just push the paper up a little bit, and we'll start with another one. 2x plus y here equals 6. And I've got x plus y equals 5. Looking at this one, it's going to be easier to make the bottom one negative because it's got the smaller numbers. So let's see what we can do. We'll change all the signs. We'll make this one minus. We'll make this one minus and that one minus. And now let's add them up. 2x take away an x will give me x. The y's eliminate. 6 minus 5 gives me 1. Now I can substitute into this, and we did have x plus y equals 5. So if I substitute in the x in there, it's going to be 1 plus y equals 5. And we can work out probably quite simply by taking 1 away that, given the answer, my 5 there, we've got y equals 4. They get really quite simple to try and work out after a while. And you can start missing out stages when you get better at doing this. Let's do one more. I've got x plus y equals 5, and we'll have 2x plus y equals 8. We've got to decide which one's going to be the easiest to try and subtract. It's probably going to be easier to take the x from this one. So we'll make this one the negative. So we go through, multiply by minus 1, or we just change the sign, minus x, minus y, minus 5. And now let's add. 2x minus an x will give me x. The y's eliminate, and we've got 8 minus 5, which is 3. So we've got our answer, x equals 3. And now we can substitute back into one of these equations, and the x plus y equals 5 is a good one to try and do. So let's have a look. We know x is 3 plus y equals 5. We can take away 3 from both sides, and we get y equals 2. So that was doing these equations by simply taking one away from the other. Now we can do and look at a few more difficult ones to sort of see what we want to try and do. Let's choose something that's a little bit harder. So I'm going to look at minus x plus 3y, and that's going to equal 7. And then I'm going to have x minus y equals 1. The signs mean that I can eliminate these just by simply adding. So x minus x is going to disappear. 3y minus a y is going to give me 2y, and we can add the 7 and 1 and make it 8. So therefore y is going to equal 4. Substitute in, I've got x minus 4 equals 1. To get rid of this, I'm going to need to add 4 to both sides. So we've got x equals 5 here as our answer. They're not really that difficult, but we can find that they become a little bit harder, and that's when someone throws in, if you almost like, a curveball to us. So let's see what we've got if we have an equation that doesn't quite work out nicely. So let's have x plus 2y, and that's going to equal 8. And we'll have another one where we've got 2x plus y equals 7. Now this time, both of them don't eliminate. What are we going to do now? Well, we need to eliminate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply them by something. And I have to decide whether I want to get rid of the x or the y. Let's get rid of the x. So if I want to get rid of the x, I want to make this double. That'll make that 2x. So let's multiply this one by 2. Here we go. 2x, 2 times 2y is going to give me 4y, and 2 times 8 is going to give me 16. I now want to eliminate them, and to eliminate them, I've got to make one of these negative. And it's going to be easier for this sum if we make it this one negative. So if I multiply through this by minus 1, changing all the signs, and then let's add again. 2x minus a 2x disappears. 4y minus a y is going to give me 3y, and I've got 16 minus 7, which will give me 9. And therefore we can divide both sides by 3, and I get y equals 3. Now I've got y equals 3. Let's go and put that back into one of the numbers. I can put it back into the first one. Makes my life easier because then I've only got to worry about 1x. So we can multiply this. So we've got x plus 2 3s are 6 equals 8. Take away 6 from both sides, and x equals 2. So there's my solutions. Y equals 3 and x equals 2. So we can look at a few more of these. There we are. I failed I was looking at the paper, not at the screen. So let's have a look at perhaps a few more of these sort of problems. And let's choose an example like, let's say, let's go for something like 3x plus y, and let's make that equal to minus 5, and we'll have 5x minus 3y. Now I'll make it plus 3y, and I'll make that equal minus 13. Looks a fairly horrible sum, doesn't it? I've got to eliminate one of these, and it looks like multiplying that one by 3 is an easy way of doing it. So let's do that. So let's multiply this one by 3. Now I write these things down here because I'm trying to let the examiner know what I'm doing, or your teacher, in fact. Here we go. So 3 3s, this is going to give me 9x plus 3y equals minus 15. Got to choose which one's going to be the easiest one to make the negative, and I think we'll do that to the top one. It's going to be smaller, it's going to be easier, so that's going to become minus, that's going to become minus, and that minus becomes plus. Now let's simply add the two together. 9 minus 5 gives me 4x, the y's eliminate, and I've got 13 and minus 15, which is going to give me minus 2. 4x equals minus 2, so divide both sides by 4. X is going to be minus 2 divided by 4, and that's going to simplify to minus a half. So x is now minus a half. Want that nice, but we'll see what we can do with this. Let's put this into the first one. It's probably the simplest. So 3 times minus a half is 1.5. Plus y equals minus 5. I said it wasn't a very nice one. When I make something up, it isn't usually very nice. So what I want to do is I want to take away 1.5 from both sides. So y is going to equal, in this case, minus 6.5. Probably not one of the easiest ones to do. Let's do another one. See if I can make something up a little bit simpler. Let's have 2x plus y equals 5, and we'll go for 3x minus 2y equals minus 3. Which one's the easiest one to get rid of? Well, that one, if we multiply this one by 2, we'll probably get somewhere. So let's do that. So that's going to give me 4x plus 2y equals 10. These two now we can add up to eliminate. So 4x and 3x is going to be 7x. This disappears, and that's going to give me 7. So x is going to equal 1. Substitute in, doesn't really matter which one, we'll do the first one. So 2x, so that's going to be 2 times 1 gives me 2, plus y equals 5. And if I take away 2 from both sides, I get y equals simply 3. So x equals 1, y equals 3. So I've gone through a few of those, but sometimes something stands out as being a simpler way of trying to work something out. Let's look at a different way of solving one of these equations. Let's suppose I'm told that x equals y plus 2, and I'm told that x plus 4y equals 7. Now, already know what x is, so sometimes we can do this instead by substitution. You may decide this is an easier way of doing it or a harder way, but sometimes this is the only way of doing it. So I know that x is y plus 2, so let's put y plus 2 instead of x. So we get y plus 2 plus 4y equals 7. I've substituted this into there. Let's see what we've got. Let's add up all the numbers and the letters. So we've got 5y here plus 2 equals 7. Let's take the 2 away from both sides to say that 5y equals 5. So therefore y equals 1. Now I can take that and we'll substitute that into the first equation. So I can say that x is going to equal 1 plus 2, therefore x equals 3. I often find that by substitution is often a little bit simpler than doing it the other way by elimination, but we'll see what we can do. So let's try one that's a little bit harder. Let's try x equals y minus 3, and we can choose another one. Let's say x plus 3y equals something like, I don't know, 5. I'm going to substitute this into my x. So I'm going to say that y minus 3 plus the 3y equals 5. Then if we add our y's, so I'm going to get 4y equals, I'm going to need to take the 3 over, so I'll add 3 to both sides. 4y equals 8, y equals 2. Then let's put it back into this one to say that x equals 2 minus 3. So x is going to equal minus 1. And there's our solution. So by substitution is quite a good way of trying to do some of these things. And we can solve all sorts of manners of problems like this. And let's have a think about how we might see some of these equations. Well, we might see an equation that looks like something like this. Can you find me, let's put it down so you can see, can you find me two numbers which sum to make, I know, 112. Oh, that's hard. And they're going to have a difference of 54. Okay, so I've got two numbers, x plus y then is going to give me 112. And I can say that x minus y is going to give me 54. Ah, it's a simultaneous equation. And now I can try and find a way of solving that. So we simply add them up. So 2x, the y's will eliminate, and we're going to add these two up, which is going to give me 166. So therefore, my first number is going to give me 83. And if we know that we've got 83, then we can substitute perhaps into this one and just say that we've got 83 minus y. Wasn't very easy, was it? 83 plus y, we'll do it in the other one, equals 112. So y is going to equal 112, take away 83, and not a nice sum for me to do, was it? I gave myself two random numbers, so let's take this away. So I'm just going to borrow from there, and I'm going to borrow now there, and 3 from 12 is going to give me 9, and 8 from 9 is going to give me 1. And he puzzled at that one because that didn't look right. And what I can easily do is I can cheat. And I'm going to call my calculator up. Why not? 112 minus 83. And as you see here, I made a mistake, 29. It didn't look right. Always check when you're doing some of these things. We all make mistakes as we're going along. Try and work things out. So we've got ideas for simultaneous equations. Many of these equations aren't particularly nice, but they come with sort of various problems to do. And one of these sort of problems often involves things like change or something. So let's suppose we've got one where we could say let's say you have got £1.75 in your pocket, and it's made up from 2p coins and 5p coins. Now, let's see what we can do. We can try and work out that perhaps if you've got I suppose you've got 50 coins in your pocket, right? So you've got 50 coins. Let's see what we know. So we know you've got some different coins. You've got some 2p coins and you've got some 5p coins. So we're going to call that T and that one F. So my 2p coins plus my 5p coins is going to equal £1.75. And I know that my 2p coins plus my 5p coins can also equal 50. Okay. Let's see if I can try and work out a way of trying to do this. So we've got our 50 coins in my pocket, and we just want to find the number of 2p coins and 5p coins. Well, it's just a sum, so I'm going to leave that as 175p is probably better way of trying to do this. So I want to find out one of these, so let's eliminate one of them, and I'm going to do that by making them negative. So, oh dear. Well, that's not going to work, is it? Because my T's and my F's are both going to eliminate. So, not going to quite work out in the same way. So, let's see if we can try and puzzle our way through how we might want to try and do something like this. So we've got £1.75 in your pocket. It's made up from 2p coins and 5p coins. And you're also told that you've got 50 coins. These 2p coins and this number of 5p coins make up a total of 50. So how might you try and work this one out? What might you need to do to try and get this one? It's a bit more of a difficult problem to solve. And as you see, that it didn't quite work out quite as we expected. So we're going to work out a little bit more on how to do this one. When you come back next time, I'll give you the solution. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.